Welcome to the Cash Show with Chris Ryan. I'm your host, Harry Cassell.
And I'm Chris Ryan.
Joining us today are friends of the show, Andrew and Todd. What's going on, guys?
Hey Harry, thanks for finally having me on here. I actually know very, very little about sports, and I actually know a lot about movies, so this should be interesting. This is actually the first fantasy draft I've ever been involved with, so I'm interested to see how this goes.
Hey Harry, thanks for tricking me into coming onto your show with fake compensation that will never be received. I'm excited to do this and to show you how to draft a real team.
Fantastic. Let's get to the polls from last week. The polls from last week were, who would you rather have on your fantasy team? Marshawn Lynch, Adrian Peterson, or Eddie Lacy? You guys voted online on Twitter at Cast Podcast, and 58% of you said Marshawn Lynch.
That means over half of you that voted are clinically insane.
Why?
Dog, AP.
Why?
AP.
What do you mean AP? Splitting carries? That's cool. Who's Marshawn Lynch splitting carries with? He, himself, and him.
Marshawn Lynch is going to get irritated the second they pass the ball on the 1 yard line. He's going to quit.
Also, AP is playing his old team this week. I'm not a gambler, but 850,000 yards.
I wouldn't be surprised. The second question from last week's poll, if Dick Vitale was at the fight, where would he have sat? Behind J.R. Smith, in between J.R. Smith and LeBron James, in LeBron's row, or does he get the Steve Harvey treatment in row one? And 40% of you each tied with in between J.R. Smith and LeBron James and in LeBron's row.
0 voted for Steve Harvey. Like, people think Steve Harvey's this big celebrity now. Like, you just host Family Feud. Dick Vitale does everything else. It's messed up.
It's his voice, man. People can't take his voice anymore.
All right, so what Andrew alluded to earlier is that we're not going to do a traditional fantasy draft. So I feel like most podcasts at this point would normally preview the NFL season and talk about the first week and matchups they like and matchups they don't like. But we're just going to say the Patriots are going to win this year, put a pin in it.
Yeah.
You're dead to me.
And then we're going to do our own draft. So this is a little idea that I had where it's a fantasy football draft. So you can draft any player from a movie or a television show. The only rules are during the movie or the television show, at some point, football has to be played. You can't pick a real person. So Todd Gurley appears on HBO's Hard Knocks. Can't pick him. And a coach can be anyone from any conceivable universe. I have the first pick because, of course, I do. I made this. And I'm picking Cheeseburger Eddie, who is Terry Crews from The Longest Yard. Gonna get everyone lunch.
My first pick is going to go out of the backfield. Going to take Forrest Gump, because why not? He can run forever. Endurance is key. Got to keep them legs moving.
Okay, so for my first pick, I'm going with a quarterback because that's how I do it. That's how I pick my people. But,
He's never done a fantasy draft before, as he said.
Or his language.
So I'm going with Sunshine from Remember the Titans, mostly because my high school mascot where I went to school, we were the Titans, so we were forced to watch this movie over and over and over again. So it's really really stuck in my head. So yeah, going with Sunshine.
So the only football movie.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
Okay.
more or less. Yep.
All right, Chris, it's a snake draft, so Chris gets the next 2 picks.
I would love to start my team off with chemistry. Never been a really big movie buff. So I am going to go Smashin' Tim Riggins from the TV show Friday Night Lights. One of my favorite shows ever. Highly recommended if you haven't seen it. It's on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
What about injury prone? They're both injury prone.
Spoilers, man.
Hey,
Come on,
hey,
man.
come
Whoa,
on, man.
whoa.
Oh.
Spoiler alert, sorry.
The show's
Sorry.
only 10 years old. Come
Yeah,
on.
guys.
All right, Andrew, you're back up.
Did you make 2 picks?
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, I'm going with the running back right now, so I'm picking. So I sat there, I was thinking, who could I watch run for hours and hours and hours? And, the answer was clear to me. It's Tom Cruise. So
What?
yeah, so I reached this conclusion after watching a 20-minute compilation video on YouTube of Tom Cruise running in his movies. And I actually can pick Tom Cruise.
You watched a 20-minute compilation of Tom Cruise running?
I'll send it to you. I'll send it to you after the show, okay? So I actually
if you're a
found
fan
out-
of the show, please listen to this episode and not Tom Cruise running in a circle.
It's a Tom Cruise running episode. But, yeah, so he actually, upon doing my research, he actually was in a football movie back in 1983. It was one of his first movies. It's called, let me see. I have
We
it
do
written down.
research on this show.
It's called All the Right Moves.
That's what I would
So,
say.
Good
yep,
thing I brought Andrew here.
Tom Cruise. That's what I'm
So
doing.
Andrew does research.
I'm the only one who does research.
All right, Todd, your pick.
All right, so I'm going to continue with the quarterback trend because, as everyone knows, that's how this works in fantasy. Andrew sucks at this. So I'm going to go with Alex Moran, the QB from Blue Mountain State. Gets girls, can shrink a whole cake by himself, and then go out and sling the ball the next day. That's a true football player.
All right, to follow up, I guess I'm also picking a quarterback because that's how things work here. I'm picking James Vanderbeek from the movie with the whipped cream bra. I don't know if you guys have seen this movie.
I don't think nobody's.
So Varsity Blues is this movie where the quarterback gets injured and James Vanderbeek steps up and he goes, Dawson's Creek, Dawson's Creek, Dawson's Creek, and he scores. And then he goes home and the head cheerleader is wearing a whipped cream bra. And so that's my pick.
So what I'm getting from your team so far is you have one guy who has the word cheeseburger in his name and
Yeah.
supplies your team with cheeseburgers.
Yep.
And then you have another person who none of us have ever heard of, and something to do with the whipped cream bra.
This is more about you guys. Y'all should see Varsity Blues. That's a good movie.
Oh my god.
Put Vanderbeek on the
Next
map.
pick.
All right, this pick is going to get me in some hot water. I know I'm going to have to dispute it, but I'm picking Mark Wahlberg from Invincible.
Vince Papale does not count. You can't pick Vince Papale.
I'm not picking Vince
You're
Papale. I'm picking Mark Wahlberg.
from Invincible,
Yes.
which is Vince Papale.
No.
Oh my gosh, this is absurd. This is a rigged draft. If you guys can't tell.
Harry makes up the rules and then bends them.
Exactly.
Oh, I know.
Oh, man, I'm like
Guys,
Roger
listen.
Goodell.
Speak about him.
All right, with my third pick, gonna have to go with Nelly from The Longest Yard. This guy can do it without cleats or with cleats. It's up to him. Can catch the ball out of the backfield. It's key if it's a PPR league, especially if it's full point. You need that.
All right.
That was the most cliche thing I've ever heard. You just took like anything Stu Gatz has ever said about Le'Veon Brown and you just put it towards Nelly.
Le'Veon Brown.
Oh, damn. Oh, damn.
Who's Le'Veon Brown?
You guys know Le'Veon Brown. He's on the Pittsburgh Skillqueeks.
Pittsburgh Bengals.
Pittsburgh Penguins. You guys know.
Oh my gosh.
All right, am I up?
Yeah.
Okay, so I've got a quarterback, I've got a running back. Obviously, next up, I have to go with the kicker. Okay.
Obviously. It's the
Obviously.
third round, so you pick a kicker.
So Harry, I have
Who are you, the Bucks?
He's going to pick the Patriots kicker.
Harry, I have
Oh,
a very
God.
important question for you. Okay.
What's up?
Where in the NFL rulebook does it say that dogs can't play football? That's right. I'm going with everybody's favorite sports playing golden retriever, Air Bud. And not just any Air Bud. I'm going with Air Bud from Air Bud 3 World Pup, where Air Bud was a soccer player. Because we all know that a lot of people transition from soccer into kicking in football. So.
I don't think there's any proof of that.
Yeah.
No, I don't think
yeah,
that's
Cairo
a
Santos.
Oh, you can name one. That's amazing.
I'm sure a lot of them played
A
soccer.
lot of them do.
Do you want to do you name one and I name one that didn't? I could be like, Goskowski.
How do you know he didn't?
I don't know. He's white.
Boom, you June. What? Whoa.
Alrighty. Mine. I get 2 picks again. 'Cause that's how snake draft works. I'm gonna get the 2 key ingredients to building a championship football team. That's a quarterback and defense. So I'm gonna go Burt Reynolds from the original Longest Yard. Used to be a pro quarterback, locked up. He's got a little badass to him. And then defense, I'm going South Central Louisiana State University Mud Dogs. And a lot of you might be saying, who are they? Bobby Boucher, middle linebacker. Enough said. You're up, Andrew.
All right. So
It's
next.
the guy from Waterboy.
Waterboy.
It's the guy from Waterboy.
Okay, so I'm going with the defensive line too. I originally wanted to pick the Mighty Mighty Ducks to get that '90s fix, but I don't think at any point in that movie they play football. Unless I'm mistaken. So I found the next best thing. Again, did a little research. I found out there was a movie made in 1994, which was basically a football ripoff of the Mighty Ducks, and it's called Little Giants. So I'm going with the Little Giants for my defensive line. Just really quick, here's some reviews for this movie that I found. Hang on, let me pull it up. This person says it's one of the worst movies of all time. And then this person says, been there, done that, unoriginal kid sports movie. This is no Mighty Ducks.
These people are terrible. That was a great film. I
Harsh
can't
critic.
believe you've never heard of it. We have to move on before I get angry. My pick, gonna continue the defense thing because, God, this is how fantasy works, unfortunately. Gonna go with the blindside defense. And while they weren't a huge component of the movie, this category is quite weak. And they went up against Michael Orr, so if you have to practice against Michael Orr, I'm sure you can do it against somebody.
All right. If we're all picking defenses, I got to go Blue Mountain State's defense, led by Thad Castle, the legend himself. And since the snake draft, I got the next one. George Clooney and Leatherheads. Never saw Leatherheads, but we're really scraping the bottom of the barrel in football movies.
This is tough.
There's way more basketball movies. We should have done this for basketball.
Wait until the NBA tip-off.
Oh, man, that's going to be exciting. I could pick Jordan, right? Jordan.
Le'Veon Brown.
Blake
Le'Veon
Griffin.
Brown.
Can we do Blake Griffin even though it's not in yet? It's not made yet. He's doing the new Space Jam, isn't he?
No, it's LeBron.
Oh, dude, I can't
You
believe
sure?
we
Yeah.
Space.
Oh, well,
Blake Griffin's
alright.
going to be a monster.
All right, got way too sidetracked. All right, so here's the best pick of the draft so far, and just in general, I'm gonna go with The Rock from any movie or TV show that The Rock was in, because you know what? It's The Rock, and you could throw him anywhere, and
I don't know.
nobody's gonna mess with him.
You smell what he's cooking?
I'm putting him in tight end. Tight end. That's my tight end. Nobody's gonna tackle that man.
All right.
Andrew.
Yep, for my last pick, let's see. Growing up an Irish fan with two parents who both went to Notre Dame, how can I not pick Rudy from Rudy?
Do you have to say Rudy from Rudy? I feel
Yes,
like most
Rudy
people would know if we were
from
talking
Rudy.
about like
There's
Rudy.
plenty of other
I didn't
Rudys
get
out
the
there. Rudy
From the
Rudy.
Cosby Show.
From Little Giants. But yeah, I mean, I don't really have a position that I'm going to put Rudy in. I'll just, wait till like the last 10 seconds of the game. It's a key play. Everybody, we start chanting Rudy, 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 and we send him onto the field, and he'll just make whatever play we need him to. So I'm going with Rudy.
All right, Chris, you're up.
Mr. Irrelevant, the very final pick in the draft. Never heard of the movie until we did research, because we do research for this show. But I didn't know that Nick Nolte played a wide receiver in North Dallas 40. So I had to get a wide receiver.
Who was Nick Nolte?
Nick Nolte.
He's insane, right?
Nick Nolte from Blue Chips.
He's the
the coach.
crazy guy.
Oh, while we're doing an NBA draft, Shaq from Blue Chips.
Oh.
Locking it down.
You cannot just
Save it
just
for the
bend in the
NBA
rules.
preview
Bend in the
podcast.
rules. Tired of it.
All right, so now we're all going to go through our teams, and then we're going to list off a head coach that we would like to coach that said team. I, of course, have James Vanderbeek from Varsity Blues, the Blue Mountain State Defense, Cheeseburger Eddie, Mark Wahlberg from Invincible, George Clooney from Leatherheads, and my coach, the legend, the champion, Bill Belichick.
I really hope that the audience will agree with me here and just recognize that your draft is poop.
Any conceivable universe.
You have the most random person in the world, James Vanderbeek, in the movie with the whipped cream bra. You have Mark Wahlberg from Invincible, which is breaking the rule that
Well, I
you
figured
made.
that Mark Wahlberg and Bill Belichick are friends, right?
Oh my god, just because they're from Boston.
No, because they're both white.
Oh god. And then Bill Belichick. Like, you can't be more creative? Nothing? Nothing.
Harry
Nope.
should be.
Alright, done.
penalized for-
We're moving on. I'm tired of that. I don't want to
Breaking
hear
rules.
about that draft.
5 championships.
My team, I got Burt Reynolds leading the squad at quarterback. I got Bobby Boucher in the Mud Dogs D. I got Smash and Tim Riggins in the backfield from Friday Night Lights. Got Nick Nolte, the crazy wide receiver in North Dallas 40. And I'm a big proponent on team chemistry, so I'm going Eric Taylor, Friday Night Lights head coach.
Smash and Tim Riggins sounds like the first name for Smash Mouth.
All right, my team, best team, and I believe everyone will think so. Gonna start off with Forrest Gump in the backfield, run Forrest run. Then Alex Moran at QB, the blindside defense.
Alex
Rock.
Moran didn't even start.
Okay, and he still won a bunch of games. Dak Prescott, blindside defense. The Rock from any movie with The Rock in it. Nelly from The Longest Yard. And with my coach, I got to go with Mike Ditka from Kicking and Screaming. He really liked the intensity and passion that he brings to the game. Screaming at kids takes a lot of cojones, and I feel like that would translate well.
So
You could have picked Mike Ditka.
not actual NFL champion Mike Ditka.
No,
kicking and screaming
no
Mike
way,
Ditka.
no way. See, I like to stick to the rules and be creative.
Any
You know, I
conceivable
appreciate
universe.
that.
And I like to be creative. That's all.
All right, Andrew, you up.
All right, so last but certainly not least,
Least.
Definitely lose.
probably least, but we got Sunshine from Remember the Titans, Tom Cruise from All the Right Moves or any other Tom Cruise movie, Air Bud from Air Bud 3, The World Pup, the Little Giants from Little Giants, and Rudy from Rudy. And as for my coach, let's see, I'm going to be going with Jon Snow from Game of Thrones.
You can't name one coach.
What about Chris Farley from Saturday Night Live skits?
That's what?
Oh, dog, come on. You can't name
Stick
one
with Jon
coach.
Snow.
You
Stick
can't
with
name
Jon
Snow.
one
Right,
coach.
Let him stick with Jon Snow.
I'm
You
sticking
pick
with Jon
Belichick.
Snow.
Denzel
Dude,
Washington.
and let me
Denzel
explain.
Washington's the coach in like 5 movies.
I'm not gonna make 2 Remember the Titans picks though.
He's
He's
just trying to get the votes.
Yeah,
man.
Harry. By mentioning Game of Thrones, you automatically just got like 500 more views. Okay? You are very welcome for that. Also, in defense of my pick, Jon Snow. He's kind of like that quiet leader. He kind of has leadership thrust upon him. Also, I haven't seen the last season of Game of Thrones, so for all I know, like he's already dead or something like that.
I haven't seen
Very well
any
dead.
season
Do you
of
want me
Game
to
of
tell
Thrones.
you?
Do not tell
Oh,
me.
okay.
No, Mr. Spoiler.
If you like the show, make sure you follow us on Twitter at Cast Podcast. You guys want to plug yourselves?
I expect compensation. That's all I have to say. Don't expect me back if I don't get compensation.
Yeah, I don't have a plug, so.
We'll see you all next week.